Okay, we're on a roll. This is part 6 of William Marshal, the longest serving knight in English history. Let's go! We are in the reign of John I now. The only King John of England because he was so bad. He was actually no worse than most other English kings, but he was just more inept. He had also inherited a kingdom that was financially bankrupt. Why? Because the ransom to get Richard back when he was captured was ridiculous. So John had no money, and he also had another contender for the throne, which was his nephew, Arthur of Brittany. But in a rare John W., he captures Arthur after a battle in France. According to rumours and Shakespeare, after about a year he has Arthur killed. This means that John is now the only contender for the throne. But he still had problems. He was losing lands in France, and it got to a point that he basically had to give up the fight. This is even with Marshal backing him in Normandy, their family's homeland. And Marshal is sent as an ambassador to negotiate with King Philip of France. But in this visit, he does the cheeky. He pays homage to King Philip II. And he does this so that he can keep a hold of his lands in Normandy. And look, this is actually not a bad idea. It would mean if John ever wanted to retake the lands in France, he would have a foothold. John doesn't see it this way. He goes, "Oh, you're willing to fight for your lands, but not for mine? I hate you, Marshal." That was the start of the King of England's personal grudge against one of his most powerful and loyal subjects. This is a repeated thing throughout John's reign. He doesn't know how to get along with his own lords. As John sees it as, I am above you, I don't need you, you need me, give me tribute. And he holds onto this grudge against Marshal for years. In 1207, he tries to strip him of his lands in Ireland. And he does this by trying to give titles that are technically William's to other men in William's household. Point being, I haven't taken your titles from you, I've just given them to people in your service. If they wanted, they could go at it alone, or come serve me. He also sends men to seize the lands themselves. He also tries to remove the strongest knights in William's household by recalling them to England with a royal summons. To ignore a royal summons from the king is, it's flirting with treason. However, in a heartwarming scene of loyalty, the knights refuse. They choose their lord, who had always had their back, against the king who would never have anyone else's. And it's incredibly embarrassing for John. He can't even command a couple of knights. And he has to save face somehow. He demands William's 2 oldest sons as hostages. William agrees because his interest is in keeping the peace. He spends the next few years in Ireland repairing the damage that John has done. By 1213, John had made a complete dog's breakfast of his reign. He had made an enemy of Philip II by trying to retake lands in France and failing abysmally. He, like his father, had made an enemy of the church. You never want to do that as a medieval ruler. And because of his treatment of his own lords and subjects, he had made an enemy of most of them. So he recalls the one person who can help, William Marshal. Like, hey, the lords like you and they don't like me. Can you help? And come back for part 7.